Hey man, what it is, YouTube man? We back with another video. We got hot, unathletic white guy destroyed the NBA, man. Larry Bird, Larry the legend, definitely top 5 though. He ain't the GOAT. We all know who the GOAT is, man. MJ, man, y'all know what it is. But Larry definitely top 5 though. Like, it's crazy people underestimate this man because he white. But when you on that court though, he bring that pang. You heard what he said. Don't put no white boys on me. Better not, boy. But Larry cold though, one of the coldest white dudes in the NBA for sure though. He might be white, but in the inside he black, boy. He a brother. You feel me? Larry one of them ones though. I ain't gonna lie. Let's get into the video though.
Larry Bird was just a white hick with a bowl cut who drank Miller Lights, chewed tobacco, fought bartenders, ate McChickens, had the back of my grandpa, and couldn't jump over a piece of paper. But he also had balls the size of King Kong, would insult his opposition for putting a white player on him, would tell you how he was going to score and then do it, create challenges for himself because the game was too easy, finished with 3 MVPs, 3 NBA championships, and etch his name as one of the best to ever do it, all due to his psychopathic drive to solve the game of basketball. Larry Bird might be a funny-looking dude from the 80s with a porn star mustache, a mullet, and a drinking problem, but he was also the baddest man to ever touch a ball. In a league that features some of undoubtedly the greatest and most physically gifted athletes the game has ever seen, how the hell did a slow-footed white dude who didn't have a lick of athleticism manage to not only survive, but absolutely dominate the greatest players of all time? Well, to find out, let's go back to French Lick, Indiana. Born in 1956, the fourth of 6 children loved one thing more than all, and I'm sure you can guess what it is.
Everybody in my town had the same things. It seemed like nothing. So all we did was play sports.
As a very impoverished family in a town where there really wasn't too much money to go around, Larry and his older brothers would hit the basketball court relentlessly. 1, because it was a cheap hobby to keep them entertained, and 2, because it hid them from their reality that was much, much darker. With 2 big bros who basically would kick his ass first and play basketball second, Larry quickly adapted to the hard-nosed, ultra-competitive, blue-collar environment, and quickly became the life of this small town of just over 2,500 people. As when he got to high school, this gym of 2,300 never had an empty seat to watch this kid play. He may not have been quick, he may not have been flashy, but standing at 6'9" as a senior, he was everything else. At 30 points and a crazy 20 rebounds a game, he not only would dominate you physically, but could shoot the ball, find his teammates, track down boards to a crazy...
Dog, I said one thing about Larry Bird, like he like 6'10", so like he really an all-around play. He can line up at power forward, small forward, shooting guards. He could probably even play some center too. Shit, probably line him up at guard too. Shit, like he really all around. Like, people only talk about Larry for like his shooting and IQ, but Larry got some defense too. I feel like his defense really underrated though.
And had an all-around crazy mind for the game. But to be a genius in one area, you likely have to sacrifice in another. Simply put,
my favorite Honeybook feature is the automations. I'm Troy Barnes.
And I'm Orlando Wiggum.
And we are mirror image.
Larry Bird was a bit weird. A quiet kid with a bowl cut doesn't exactly scream star recruit in the state of Indiana to play under legendary coach Bobby Knight. But after 24 days at Indiana State University, Larry Bird felt out of place and returned home, giving up on his basketball endeavors at the top of the world to become a garbage man with the city's sanitation department back in French Lick. Larry didn't have too many kids to talk to his age. He and his family didn't have any money, but Larry always had one thing: his dad that he shared everything with. Joseph Bird was a hard-working construction worker that Larry really wanted nothing more than to be like. If you worked 40 hours in the Bird household, you were a part-time worker. Larry recalled a time helping his dad with a broken and swollen black and blue foot into his boot before getting back out on the construction site. Bird's pops may have been a role model, but that didn't hide the disaster that was going on behind the scenes. As a Korean War veteran, Joseph Bird had his own issues he was battling. Living with the experience of a bloodbath as well as frequent unemployment issues with the limited labor force in French Lick, his method to cope with his struggle always involved booze. As his drinking problem forced his wife out of the marriage, the issues would only be amplified. As financial and substance issues would stockpile, a call to his then ex-wife regarding his late child support payments would end with him saying, "Maybe you'd be better off without me." He would be found dead later that day with a handgun, causing a ripple effect that Larry never recovered from. Everyone's reaction to tragedies like this are going to differ from individual to individual, and in Larry's case, he was pissed. And what he looked at as quitting on him and his family, Larry really had nothing. He was broke. He quit his basketball dream, and despite working his ass off for every...
See, man, he quit his... That guy right there, shoot. Man, that's crazy. Like, imagine... Man, that father thing important though. I ain't gonna lie, it's very important. Play a big role in your life for real though. But Larry ain't give up though. He went right back out there, man. That's
everything he had and everything he's achieved, he lacked the opportunity to turn it into something more than mediocre. This really could have been the last we heard of Larry Bird, unless you live in French Lick and he was snagging your trash. But an Indiana State head coach had heard about the best show in rural Indiana.
That's crazy, man. Was a garbage man, bro. And then he ended up making 100,000 millions in the league, one of the best of all time that people talk about damn near every day. That's crazy, bro.
Just 1 year prior, and was not going to let this opportunity slip. With the motivations of turning his dead-end life into something, bringing his family out of the poverty that he knew nothing more than, and the weight of honoring his father's legacy, they may not have known it at the time, but that garbage man in French Lick may have just been the best college basketball player in the country. Despite picking up trash for a year, Bird didn't have an ounce of rust on him. Due to NCAA rulings forcing Larry to sit out a year, Bird was forced to practice with the bench guys for his super freshman year, where he'd basically pull a Jimmy Butler every day and whoop the starter's ass with a squad full of scrubs. It was a surprise to everyone except anyone who had seen him play before that coming into his sophomore year, he was one of the best players in the NCAA, putting up 32 points a game without a damn three-point line as one of the best shooters to ever lace him up. Larry was never not the man on the court. Larry turned the 13-12 Sycamores into a 25-3 powerhouse after not playing a game for 2.5 calendar.
Yeah, some people would be like, oh, Indiana State not a big school though, but just because you don't play for a big school, people don't think you good, bro. Like, that's just how it is, bro. Like, say you play for, because, you know, Indiana State, like a small market school, though, like, it's not like Missouri, Drake, you know, I'm not Drake, Duke, Gators, Hurricanes, them type of basketball schools, right? But since he played for Indiana State, people didn't look at him like as a top prospect just because the school you play at, which is done to me, though. That's just how it is, though. But if he played for Duke, teams like that, he would have been looked at. That's just how it is, though.
Years, shooting 54% from the field with 13 boards, 4.5 assists, 2.8 steals, and a block. Larry Bird was a brilliant two-way point forward who may have just been the best scorer in the world.
Now we come to the subject of, this is bird country. Oh, this is bird watching country, but this is a rare bird. There's a meteor called Halley's Comet that appears once every 76 years. And that's what they call him down here, is Halley's Comet. He has unbelievable ability, and welcome to Larry's world.
Number 33, the center, a 6'9.5" senior from Fort Smith, Indiana, Larry Bird.
It didn't take a lightning-quick first step or biceps the size of your head to do it. Just a guy who can use every bit of his 6'9" frame through finding his spots, creating his space, and taking what the defense gave him. Turn this garbage man on a nobody team to one of the best shows in college.
Garbage man.
I went in there and they had like a 13-13 season. All of a sudden, you go from having 2,000 and 3,000 people at your games to people can't get tickets.
Larry Bird was on the cover of every magazine, and the Sycamores were catching nationally televised games that they had never received before. But as the world couldn't get enough of Bird country, his quiet small-town energy didn't let them get any closer. He really didn't talk to any news reporters, you really didn't see him out. Bird was a mystery man that popped in and dominated, then disappeared before you could bother him. The glitz and glamour of being the face of the NCAA didn't really entertain him, but what did was willing his way to the top of college basketball.
Oh, God.
Set it up. The score, 4-2 Houston. Smith penetrates the lane. Feeds it off to Bird. He's there. What a move by Larry Bird.
The jump against Gilbert on Bird.
Good pass, boy.
Inside. Great pass.
God.
And that dunk over Watkins. He knew that was going in.
7 seconds to go. Reed gets it to Heaton. Heaton, left hand.
Keeps Indiana State undefeated in order to the Final Four.
Despite being drafted 6th overall in the '78 draft, Larry Bird was set on leading this unranked school to a tourney run as long as he could do it his way. And before you could blink, he was on his way to doing it. Climbing from unranked in week 1 to the #1 school week 13 on the back of an undefeated season, Bird country was in full swing and then some. It really made you understand why, even though you couldn't have him for a year, the Boston Celtics thought this dude was worth the wait. If you weren't eye on him through the regular season, you for damn sure were tuned in by the NCAA tournament. As the most anticipated matchup in sports,
Bird and Magic, legend versus legend right there.
Tournament history. Well, the world sat to witness the birth of one of the most infamous rivalries in sports history. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were set to define the era of basketball as we know it, with the biggest stage in college basketball set to kick it off. The battle between the player of the year and the upcoming first overall pick had all the makings of an
Magic tough though. I mess with Magic though, but I might have to take Bird, pass it over Magic though. I ain't gonna lie, Bird At first, I thought Magic was the best passer of all time, but I gotta get out the Bird, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Movie. Bird had established himself as not only one of the best
Magic
players
still
in
top
college,
five,
but
though.
one of the best players to ever play in college. Running a mid-major team to the top of the NCAA is something that just doesn't happen. And with his 28.5 points, 15 boards, and 5.5 assists, Bird put together one of the most complete carry jobs ever. But Magic wasn't too far behind him. Far and away the best draft prospect this year with transcendent length, playmaking, and leadership, this colossal matchup had quickly grabbed the attention of the whole world, and they got their money's worth.
Shooter on sophomore, and here's the great player Bird. Reed open. Indiana State takes it. Magic Johnson with the ball. Oh, he scores! And he is fouled. Look at Urban Magic. Magic Johnson from 15, and he loves to hit that. These players are not hitting that perimeter shot. Oh, Bird! Great play by Bird.
Oh my God. Told y'all don't sleep on that boy Bird defense, though. That boy could play some D, boy. You know what I'm saying? Defense underrated. People just talk about his shooting. Talk about his defense, though. Look at that, man.
An alley-oop pass almost
God.
get it into Kelson.
Standing ovation. Magic Johnson, a 4-point play. And Michigan State has an 11-point lead. Bird hits the
Though he came up short, this one was a battle of the century.
three. Oh, there's a pass. Look at Johnson. Go.
Hey.
It's all over. Michigan State University, national champions, 1979.
Plenty of people were disheartened to see Bird lose, but plenty of people were also equally glad to see Magic win. The division of this rivalry put asses in seats at the college level, and with the picture-perfect story with Magic Johnson being drafted first overall to the Los Angeles Lakers, this revived the biggest rivalry in sports at a time where the NBA brutally was in need of it. The aftermath of the infamous Wilt and Bill Russell rivalry resulted in a decade of declining attendance and TV ratings. The NBA was desperate for face of the league to arise, and they were lucky enough to land two of them at the same time. Entering the NBA, Larry Bird instantly was one of the best players that the league had to offer.
Damn, it's
Despite some of his
raining
teammates
outside.
refusing to
God.
allow some white kid to come in and steal attention away from them, that white kid led the 29-53 Celtics to the biggest single-season turnaround in NBA history.
I'm thinking, oh, he's slow, he can't get off a shot. He's not that strong. This is gonna be a layup. Bam, knocks down a jump shot. Okay, maybe that was luck. Gets the ball again. Bam, knocks down another jump shot. Now I'm thinking like, okay, hey, you know what? Up in the D.
You gonna learn tonight.
Like
Yeah, you gonna
20
learn, boy.
feet away. Bam, 25 feet away. Bam. My mind just goes to the, damn, this white guy can go.
Yeah, you're a
Bird
believer
was
now,
not only
huh?
the best rookie in the NBA, taking home Rookie of the Year award over Magic Johnson, but Bird finished in the top 4 of MVP voting in his first season in the NBA. Playing with the three-point line for the first time in his career, Bird would average 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 4.5 times a game while dragging the Celtics to the Eastern Conference Finals as a rookie. On top of being instantly the best shooter in the NBA, he was constantly seeing plays happen a couple of steps before the crowd. After their worst season in 30 years, Larry Bird was the only piece they needed to complete the rebuild. The 1980s were looking like a straight shot to the top of the NBA for the Boston Celtics, and
But
compounding
that Celtic Paris, boy, oh my God, Paris was a dog. But I ain't gonna lie, that Boston Celtics team was crazy. The only team I could see was beating them was the Bulls and Lakers, bro. That's it.
with the offseason trade for Robert Parrish and the drafting of Kevin McHale, the NBA had just found its newest dynasty. But there was another team on the other side of the country who was looking at an even brighter future. To the disdain of Boston fans, the Lakers would finish the 1980 season with their 7th championship banner in NBA history. And to the disdain of Larry Bird, the rookie sensation Magic Johnson would be crowned the series MVP as he watched from the couch. And what only motivated the NBA's ultimate competitor, the NBA was in for something wild this decade.
Bird puts up his shot. Larry Bird got off. Is that too far out for him? It's too long for Dawkins. Bird
All the way. Hey.
Maxwell ties the game. For Dawkins, feeding Tiny. What a pass by Bird. Larry Bird. As Kevin pointed out, Caldwell Jones in there.
Oh my God.
Bird, he could not be denied. Larry Bird.
But
This
nigga
Celtics
was
team had
hooping,
enough
boy.
talent to kill a horse, with the brilliance and perimeter scoring of Bird and the defense and interior scoring of Parrish and McHale. This team was led by two dudes in their rookie and sophomore seasons, and after sweeping the Chicago Bulls, the 76ers looked like they were ready to put these inexperienced kids to bed. Led by Julius Erving and Daryl Dawkins, the Sixers looked like they completely outclassed the Celtics, jumping out to a 3-1 lead in the series, but in what quickly turned into an all-out movie, Larry Bird turned this into a slugfest. With 32-11-5, Bird put the team on his back to drag them across the finish line in a 2-point game to finally get some momentum back on their side. In the most evident example of 80s basketball you'll ever see, these teams competed to the end with physicality that would put a modern ref into cardiac arrest. In a 2-point game in Game 6,
so he really a brother inside, man. I told you.
And a 1-point nail-biter in Game 7, the Boston Celtics were officially back. In one of the craziest sports towns in the world, this unsuspecting white kid who had to leave college to pick trash just a few years ago was the new face of NBA basketball. Landing in the NBA Finals in just his second year in the NBA, the struggles to pack seats for the past few years were certainly not seen in go. In a 6-game series that really shouldn't have gone that far, the Celtics made you forget that just 2 years ago, this Houston Rockets team had the MVP and Boston was the worst team in basketball. Larry Bird took control of the NBA, leading a dead-end franchise to an NBA championship in just his second year in the NBA.
Now, Larry, as soon as he shot that ball, knew he missed it. He knew he missed it right. He took off right for the basket again, not being boxed off the boards.
Oh my God. That's that hustle right there, boy. Oh my God.
Great shot.
You won't see much better moves than that. Seconds, one, and the world champion, the Boston Celtics.
If Victor Wembanyama takes home a chip next year, the world is going to lose their minds. And that's exactly what happened.
I'm going to lose my mind if Spurs win the championship next year, but I'm going to lose it.
Happened in Bird Country. Larry was the new poster boy for basketball, with the mustache mullet man pictured everywhere you look. With the best regular season in the league in the 1982 season, the NBA had their new golden boys, as Larry finished second in MVP voting for the second year in a row, with 23-11-6 with 2 steals a game. Storming back into the 1982 playoffs as the new favorites in the NBA, the team that gave them the most trouble out of everyone came around for payback. In another war of a 7-game series, the Philadelphia 76ers had gotten their revenge and punched another ticket to the NBA Finals. Only problem was, Magic Johnson was once again waiting for them. Despite playing alongside one of the best players of all time in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic was the clear captain of that Lakers squad and was awarded with his second Finals MVP in his first 3 seasons in the NBA. In what seems straight out of a Disney movie as the league was at its lowest, 2 Midwest college players duke it out in the biggest college game in history, split to 2 major big market rival teams in need of young talents, and come in to win the first 3 finals they play. If this happened today, I think it would light the world on fire. And when it happened then, it was enough to catapult the NBA to all-time heights. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird might have just came in and saved basketball. Things may have looked up in the moments. Sure.
Now imagine Magic Johnson and Larry Bird on the same team, bro. Oh my God, but they'll have about 10 plus rings, I swear to God. Magic and Larry Bird on the same team? With Kareem? Man, who's stopping that trio?
Magic may have won a couple rings, but Bird was sharing that poster boy spot with him, was richer than his wildest dreams, and could sit back and enjoy the fruits of his labor. And that's kind of what he did. With his worst year yet in the league at 56-26, Larry was riding the buzz of being that guy a little too hard. Sliding into the second round with a pretty cakewalk matchup against Sidney Moncrief and the Milwaukee Bucks, the Celtics fell asleep and never woke up. In an embarrassing 4-0 sweep, the Golden Boy of the NBA was faced with his first real challenge. Despite reaching gold in just his second NBA season, Larry had ran into the playoffs as the favorite in the league and didn't even make it out of the Eastern Conference. Yes, he was a fun young star, but outside of his miracle run, who knew if this kid had it in him to keep it up and put himself among the greatest ever played? Well, I guess one guy knew. Larry Bird came out in the 1983-1984 season with a monstrous chip on his shoulder. It may have been cute for the young gun hit kid to come in and turn around a franchise, but after 2 straight losses and 3 straight runner-up MVP seasons, this is where we saw Larry Bird at his absolute best.
Oh my God.
Despite actually not shooting the ball very well, Larry Bird dominated the game physically and mentally. This really proved to be somewhat of a misconception of his game, as other than his rookie year, Bird only shot a pretty poor 26% from beyond the 3-point line up to this point. He didn't need the 3-ball to put up over 20 even though later in his career this aspect was absolutely dialed.
Hey, I remember this. It was a 3-point contest. All the best shooters. He came in and said, "Who's gonna come in second?" But that's confidence right there. Oh my God.
His mid-range shooting,
come in
post-up game, and
second.
craftiness with a big give-and-go game willed the ball in the basket when a little bit of size was his only physical
MJ, man, these the top 3 right here. They got it in order too. Nah, yeah, they got it in order. MJ, Bird, Magic, but to me though, I'll probably have Magic in front of Bird though. I ain't gonna lie, but yeah, this the top 3 right here though, all time right here.
but his IQ on the floor was on a whole nother level. Larry Bird used every tool in his bag to not only beat you, but pummel you, then let your ass know right after. Larry knew how to create advantages as well as anyone, with a quick array of head and ball fakes to get you going, and once he had the advantage, he had the touch to capitalize on every single one of them. And at 6.6 assists a game, he was the best passing wing ever up to that point, and even now holds up with some of the best to ever do it. Larry Bird was so damn well-rounded, and this season it was no question who the best in the world was, with Larry Bird taking home his first MVP trophy in his career. With Bird on top, the Celtics elevated right along with him. With Parrish and